And business delegation heads for the G20 Summit in Turkey next month. Under the spotlight, implications of the global trade slowdown and policy options to further integrate small businesses into global value chains. I'm joined now by Khanyisile Kweyame, CEO of Business Unity South Africa, to find out more about what South Africa will want out of this gathering. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon to you. Thanks for having us.
So we're continuing to see many countries struggle under weak economic conditions, struggling with creating jobs. You've alluded to the fact that many people are facing a hopelessness for a prosperous future. So Business Unity SA is a member of the B20 International Business Advisory. As a member, you've said that this shouldn't be the status quo.
Definitely, and I think in a way it's fortunate that the whole global economy is experiencing similar challenges.
Yes.
Some may be worse off than others. We may be experiencing much more, but the bottom line is that the world is facing the same. So a forum such as the B20 creates an opportunity for not only heads of states, but business leaders from all over the world to share what is common and that could be unblocked. And from preparing for the meeting coming up in November, about 4 issues that have been identified as priorities. You know, we always talk about a social compact in South Africa, and it's not only a South African phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon. So identifying those 4 that apply across the globe, that need to be unblocked, that need to be a focus area, so that we can assist, and I don't know if you want me to mention some of them now, but around the World Trade, the WTO, Free Treaty Organization, just so that you unblock all the red tape and all the regulatory issues that make it difficult for businesses to trade from country to country. You mentioned in your introduction that SMME financing is a key one across, and I think the recognition all over the world and in South Africa as well that SMMEs are going to be the main drivers of job creations and economic growth for years to come. So how do we finance them so that we ensure that they move from being small and just struggling about everyday, day-to-day issues and moving on to get to the big task of creating jobs so that the economy starts getting stimulated.
So SMEs, things like entrepreneurship, women and youth employment, all of those things you do speak on. We will touch on those in a moment. But business cannot create prosperity and opportunity on its own. So there has to be some sort of working commitment between the G20 leaders, business, civil society, to kickstart that growth. Is there support for this?
Absolutely. Hence, we refer to the social compact. And I mean, in South Africa, we have platforms that exist that demonstrate that there is a recognition. In order to kickstart, you need all the social partners involved. And when you talk about youth, they probably are not represented in business structures, but society, the civil society structures represent them. Labor is a key component to this because, you know, in order to address the issues of productivity, the issues of all of us focusing on getting to work, not being outside of work more than we are inside of work. So those are some of the ones. So for instance, in South Africa, NEDLAC is a structure that exists that has got all the social partners that are involved. So you'd look at issues such as the regulations. That's one of the 4 areas that have been mentioned in the release that you refer to. Stabilizing the labor relations area, and there are work streams working on that so that we ensure that people, as I say, are at work and are productive while we're at work. Because once you are in the SMME space, productivity is quite key and critical. You know, in order for you to get your goods out to the client in the quickest way possible, productivity needs to be at its highest. So once that social compact is established between all the partners and we are all agreed that we are facing the same challenges and we need to unblock them in the same way, then we can start seeing that.
And you mentioned productivity in the workspace, and also when one thinks of South Africa, we think of all the opportunities that are available, especially to the likes of entrepreneurs. How can we ensure that there is support for entrepreneurs and that there is support in the workplace to ensure that small businesses and entrepreneurs have got the backing, the finance, the productivity? How can we ensure that?
At 2 levels, really. The first one is around skills, you know, and I think skills is a universal cry that people in business, people in young people are just saying skills. So let's get the education system sorted out so that the skills that are coming out are also fit for purpose for the work environment. I think in South Africa we have the Department for Small Business with the Ministry for Small Business, which is a key one that will focus on SMME development and look at some of those issues that are a barrier towards SMMEs achieving what they need to achieve. Funding always comes out at the top,
yes,
but skills is another one. And just breaking the red tape that is required, because the cost of compliance gets too much for SMMEs. So they need, as it is for big business, but for SMMEs, then it's really, it can do you or undo you. So unblock those, cut out the red tape, cut out the bureaucracy so that SMMEs can get to the work and get things done as soon as possible.
Khanyisile Kweyame, CEO of Business Unity South Africa, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, another